Added a date's ex-girlfriend on Facebook when creeping her after a date. I had no idea until he sent me a screenshot. The way my soul would leave my body, I would change my name, address, buy a plane ticket to the furthest point away from where I live on the map. Kazakhstan, Dunkerque, that's where I'll be. Get my car ready. You would never see me again. I would actually die. Hi guys, and welcome back to Love What Luck. Hope you all had a good week. I am actually pre-recording this week's episode because by the time it comes out, God willing, of course, I will be on holidays. I'm going to be in Dubai for 10 days, and let me tell you, I cannot wait. Now, if you listen to me or if you follow my Instagram at Sadie Maltby, then you know I am a bit of an avid holidayer. It's something I feel very passionate about, but I haven't been on a sun holiday where I just relax for months. Like, I literally can't remember the last time. Because every holiday I've been on has been like really filled with activities and really busy. And then even though I've been away this year, I haven't been anywhere hot. So basically I've booked to go all inclusive in Dubai, which is obviously quite unusual there. I'm not going to bore you talking about the holidays, don't worry. If you want to see what I'm up to when I'm there, come and follow me at Sadie Maltby, because obviously I'll put everything there. But basically we've just booked to go on a relaxed 10-day holiday, like a long holiday in the sun with very little to do and very little plans, and I am very, very, very excited. So yeah, I'm pre-recording this week's episode, and I've got to do a bit of a follow-up. It was either last week or the week before that I mentioned kindness and how important it is to be kind to people and how it makes you feel good about yourself, and you know, I was all on that vibe, and I just have to follow it up and keep it real, that this morning I argued with Matt, my boyfriend, and I was in a bad mood to start the day, which I absolutely hate because I've got such a morning routine going on, because I hate starting my day in a bad mood. It just it ruins your day, doesn't it? So I was annoyed. I was more annoyed at the fact that I was annoyed, if you get me. I was more annoyed that I was annoyed at having the argument rather than the argument itself. Anyway, so this morning I stormed off. I go straight onto the train, and a girl comes on, guys, and smiles right in my face. Do you know how rare that is on a morning London commute on the tube? Do you know how rare it is to have a girl come on and actually look happy to see you and smile in your face? Guys, I looked up at her and I looked straight back down on my phone. I know as soon as I did it, I was like, oh, you're a bitch. You're an absolute bitch, you're horrible, you've ruined that girl's day. She's trying to make the best out of a bad situation on a Monday morning, and you have just shit all over it. I felt so guilty, but I was in such a bad mood, and it was done. I want to say there's nothing I could do about it. I honestly didn't look back up for the rest of the journey. But I was like, oh my God, last week I was preaching about like all this stuff I do. When I'm in a bad mood, honestly, I just can't hide it. It reminded me about a time, right? When I went into work once, I work in a communal building, so I was sharing a lift with a stranger, right? And I think there was tube strikes or something going on. There was something happening where it was an absolute nightmare to get into work, right? So anyway, I get into this lift, and there's a stranger there, and I make a comment saying something like, oh, what a nightmare this morning was. And she looked me in the eyes and with a deadpan straight face said nothing, and then turned to face the wall in a lift. She turned to face a blank wall rather than give me a smile back, and I'm not gonna lie, it pissed me off and it made me so depressed that I cried when I got into work. I was probably having one of those days / weeks where I was crying easily, which is quite common for me. But I was like, oh my God, people can't even say hi, like I hate you, you know, like when you're on one of those days. And then this morning, that was me. So my point is, I'm coming straight in with the opener for this podcast, it seems, is the saying, you never know what someone's going through, is actually true. And it's the last time I'll get upset over somebody not being friendly to me. She could have argued with her boyfriend, her friend, her family, all of the above that morning. She might have spilt a tin of beans in her bag for all I know. I have newfound empathy for people because I probably ruined that girl's day. If she ever comes across this video, I'm sorry. And your smiling face on that tube was an absolute joy, and I'm sorry that I couldn't reciprocate it. Anyway, baby intro out of the way, we're going to go straight in as always with this week's Love What Luck story. I had gone through a particularly bad breakup before meeting a guy who swooped in to save the day, promising to show me how love should be. Shortly after we got together, I suffered a miscarriage. I'm sorry. We decided to try again and fell pregnant with our daughter in 2019, followed by our son in 2020. We got engaged in 2021 on my 30th birthday, but something seemed sus when he proposed without a ring and said if I bought my own, he would repay me. Immediately no. Immediately I'm saying no to that proposal. You come back to me in 5 years' time if that's what it takes to come back with a diamond. I think I would rather wait than say yes to a ghost proposal. What type of person does that make me? I don't know. But my instant reaction is absolutely not. I do on the ring, I do on the works. If my boyfriend hasn't planned out a proposal at least 3 months in advance, then is it worth it? No, I'm joking. But you know what? I do think doing a proposal like that as the proposer is a really good way to suss out whether your partner wants the marriage or just the wedding and just the diamond. Because obviously I joke, but if like my boyfriend who I love and I've been with this time and I know I want to marry him, if he actually proposed to me and was like, look, I haven't got a ring, but I just love you so much and you can buy your own and I'll repay you, I just want to propose to you, let's not mess about. In that moment, I would be swooped up in the romance fair. Obviously, I'd say yes. But I do think when all that dies down, I'd be low-key fuming. Also, because when you get engaged, one of the first things that girls, I don't know about guys, but I know that girls ask is, let me see the ring. Imagine being like, we haven't got a ring yet. I'm just going to buy it. I'm going to pick it out and buy it, and then he's going to pay me back. That's a red flag if ever I saw one. That's taking red flag to a whole other level. Thinking nothing and being overjoyed at the prospect of finally having the family I had always dreamed of, and the same last name as my children, I just went along with it, wanting to announce and celebrate at my 30th party. We booked our wedding for October 2022. I paid the deposit and 50% of the balance, under the promise that he would pay the remaining balance 3 months before the wedding when it was due. I'm seeing a theme here, and I don't like it. It got to 3 months before the wedding. I think we all know what's coming. Everything was sorted. I had sent out all the invites, etc. But nothing came of the remaining balance. When the hotel asked for the final payment, I queried it with him, and he said he couldn't afford it and that he had been rejected for a loan. Moronically, I took out a 5k loan to pay the remaining balance. Can I just say, I'd never heard of the word moronically before, and I absolutely love it. It's basically like you're acting like a moron, I think, is what I took from it. Love that cheeky word. But yeah, she took out a 5k loan. So far, she's paid for everything to do with the engagement and the wedding. And bear in mind, like, they've been together a while and they have kids together. So what's he playing at? No, it actually gets worse though. The wedding day came, but I didn't see him much after we said our vows. I literally saw him for the first dance, and then he was back outside with his groomsmen smoking cigars and drinking. So that's just not acceptable. Ironically, I said like when you propose you find out if somebody wants the marriage or the wedding. He proposed and turns out he just wanted the wedding, not the marriage. He just wanted a day to get together with the lads that he hadn't seen for a while. He just wanted a night out with some cigars. His family ended up starting a massive fight, and I asked the DJ to request everyone to go home at 9:30 p.m. due to the embarrassment of it all. I'm sorry, that's so out of order. Who starts a fight at a wedding, number one, but number two, at your own son's wedding, because it was his family, so like your own family member's wedding, not even like a stranger. Not that that makes it okay. But like you would have thought if it was your cousin or your brother, you'd be able to rein it in, like you try extra hard to rein in the fisticles would know. Is that even a word? I don't know, I just wanted to say it. Fast forward to January 2023, I noticed he was messaging a girl on Snapchat. It was the same girl I'd questioned him about 6 months prior. He proceeded to gaslight me and make me feel like I was being stupid until one morning at 3 a.m. I checked his phone. He didn't come to bed until 2 a.m. that night. Sure enough, there was her name all over his phone. I told him it was over and sought legal advice. When he found my solicitor notes, he attacked me, to which I proceeded to press charges. What's wrong with these guys, honestly? When he was released on bail, he moved in with a girl from the messages, who apparently was just a friend. Standard. I paid over 10k for a wedding, excluding all the trimmings, only to be single 3 months later. No. This is what I don't get, and we've had stories, like, not the same, but, like, similar. Why go through the wedding knowing that you're wasting all the money? Do people not have any value for money anymore? I mean, he obviously has no value for the relationship. I suppose it's not his money, actually, is it? Yeah, it's not his money, but still, like, where's the empathy and the guilt and the general moral compass to not have somebody you love spend 10k plus on a day that you know means absolutely nothing to you? That's what I'd be more fuming about, see, the money, honestly. He still hasn't seen our children, but he's happily playing happy families with her and her 3 children. That is heartbreaking. I have started speaking to someone, but how do I ever trust again after all of this? Some of the stories you read really do give me hope, but instead of counting down to our wedding day, I'm now counting down to October 2023, when the year marker hits and I can finally get a divorce. That is, like, absolutely traumatic, innit? But I'm going to swoop straight in with a happy ending, because she messaged me again, because it took me a few weeks, I think, to see her message. You know, I say, like, I am going to get through all my messages, but slowly but surely. And then she messaged me again saying, update, 3 months after becoming single, my primary school best friend slid into my DMs. He only lives around the corner and he's been in the background all along. He's so sweet and my children already know of him, now absolutely adore him. So what I love about that is earlier in the message she says, like, how am I ever going to trust again? But within 3 months she meets somebody, and I've spoken to her again, because again, like, the messages basically came staggered in, like, weeks. I think the original one was, like, over a month ago. I asked her again, like, hope it's all going okay, you know, with the guy. And she's like, yeah, it's going great. The kids love him. Everything is nice. So I just love humans, because no matter what we get put through, we are so resilient as a species. This sounds deep, but we are. Like, you go through shit and you, like, she must have thought, like, how am I ever going to get over this? How am I going to trust somebody again? How am I going to get over the heartbreak of watching somebody I love who has left me in debt, left the kids, raising, like, another family, somebody else's children, playing happy family with some girl. Like, in that moment, you're going to feel so low, but you get over it, and then you just meet somebody and you love again. Honestly, I think it's so fascinating, literally, why I've got this podcast, because when I say I love, like, I actually mean it, because how amazing is that? Like, when you're at your lowest, love will always pick you back up. I feel like I'm going really deep and serious, but it's true, and I know that somebody listening to this will be going through something, and this is the hope. Like, 3 months after that, she's like, oh, my primary school best friend DM'd me, like, remember him? All meant to be, all timing. So yeah, that's this week's story. Welcome officially. I'm on just over 700 followers, guys, on Spotify, and I'm so grateful. I feel like I did this podcast for a long time, right? I think I've been doing it for about a year now. But, like, at the start, I barely shared it. Not like when you start something and you, like, for me anyway, it's very slow coming out. And then I think it was Matt, he was like, you need to ask people to follow you on Spotify. Like, if you don't actually ask, then people won't even know. So over the last few weeks, I've actually started to ask you guys, like, please follow me. It means the world to me. And I've just been, like, letting you know what it does to me if somebody follows or subscribes to my page or messages me. And I feel so grateful because I feel like since I've asked you guys, you just have like absolutely smashed it for me. I think I've asked over the last maybe 3 or 4 weeks. I don't know, it doesn't feel like that long since I've been like fully asking. And I've shot up like 200 followers. I'm like nearly reaching my goal. So just a reminder, please come and follow me on wherever you're listening or watching this, or subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. I'm doing a giveaway when I get to 1,000 followers on Spotify, and then a separate giveaway when I get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So I am actually going to say my thanks to you in the form of a gift. But yeah, I'm super, super grateful. As you know, it really helps get the podcast out, and I love doing it. So yeah, as always, come give me a follow, leave me a review. They're shooting up as well. I think they shot up like 15 since I last recorded or something crazy. So yeah, please come leave me a review, and if you like a reel or if you like an episode, then share it to your friends and get the word out, because as always, we want to get more stories on you. We want to hear all your stories because we love them. Oh, do you know what I want to tell you about? On the weekend, I went to Makro for the first time. Makro, when I was younger, right, in Wales, seemed like this elusive place that like I'd only ever heard of, and people would go and tell me about these big tubs of sweets they did there, like the big pick and mix sweets, and I'd be like, oh, what a dream to go there. But I could never go. I never had a card. I never knew anyone that had a Makro card, and I never experienced it. Fast forward 20 years, and I went out on Saturday and we passed a Makro, and my boyfriend could have a car, and he was like, yeah, we can go in. I was so excited. Well, I'm not gonna lie, when I walked in, if anyone's been to Makro, I was expecting it to look like a normal supermarket, but just everything in bulk. It looks like a warehouse, so aesthetically I was a bit disappointed when I first stepped in there. But after I got my rhythm going, I got that little scanner going, and I was seeing all these big things in bulk, massive thing of dishwasher tablets for £10, I was in my element. Get me to the sweet aisle, I couldn't quite believe my eyes. It literally made me want to open a corner shop somewhere. I was like, do you know what, there's actually an empty space, like for a coffee shop opposite my building. I was like, I'm just going to open a sweet shop. I got really carried away. But yeah, I finally went to Makro, guys. That's basically what I'm trying to tell you. After over 20 years of thinking about Makro, I finally went and I really enjoyed it. Okay, last week I realised that I asked you guys on Instagram, what's the most embarrassing thing you've done on a date? And then when I came to the episode, I spoke for so long and went on so many different tangents that I completely forgot to share the answers. I'm so sorry. So obviously I'm bringing them to this week's episode. So I asked you guys, what's the most embarrassing thing you've done on a first date? Okay, first one. Got a bit frisky and we ended up getting locked in a car park. He had to phone his friend to cut a lock at 2 a.m. That was a good friend to answer the phone and come at 2 a.m. Very good friend. Fell asleep on his parents' sofa and started snoring. He woke me up. Oh, that's really embarrassing. I'm confused. You must have been young if you're on his parents' sofa. But you know, I went to a house party once, right? And fell asleep, obviously, on the settee. I woke up to the sound of, like, the person whose house it was running a bath. I was like, oh my God, have I said the story? Maybe. It was like 9:30 in the morning. Everybody had gone home. I didn't hear anyone leave. It was just me and the house owner, who I'm obviously not going to name, running a bath. I was so embarrassed. I was probably asleep with my mouth open, like looking a state. Everyone had left and I was like seriously outside my welcome. So I can relate to that. It's embarrassing. Got caught giving a BJ on camera. I need way more details than that. Because, what? How and why? Fell down the stairs on our way out of the bar, so I pretended to have fainted. I mean, quite smooth. If you could get away with doing that and it passed, then I don't know why, but it's much less embarrassing to faint than to fall. I think. I don't know. It's about even, but I think. Added a date's ex-girlfriend on Facebook when creeping her after a date. I had no idea until he sent me a screenshot. The way my soul would leave my body, I would change my name, address, buy a plane ticket to the furthest point away from where I live on the map. I would just close my eyes, point my finger as far away as possible to where I live, and wherever my finger landed, that's where I would move to. Kazakhstan, don't care, that's where I'll be. Get my car ready. You would never see me again. I would actually die. When he dropped me home, I text my friend to tell her he gave me the ick. Sent the text to him instead. No. Oh, just imagine being the guy though, getting that. You're on your phone to your friends being like, yeah, mate, just dropped her off now. Really like her. It was a really good date. She's fit as well. Yeah, I can't wait to see her. Probably going to leave her a couple of days, but yeah, I'll text her. Oh my God, she's texted me already. Alright, what's he... Oh, friends on the other side like, whoa, what'd she say? Come on, what'd she say? She wants to see you again. You're like, no. Yes, I'm like, I don't know, to be honest, I wasn't really that fussed on her, so yeah, fuck her. Imagine. Oh, so sad for him. So sad. This is actually, I had a couple of these. I actually know somebody that this happened to, and she just reminded me about it, exactly the same thing. And then we had another one. Thought I was texting a friend to tell him how fit my date was, but accidentally texted the date himself. Again, mortify him, but upon thinking of it, I think I would rather that happen than the ick, because you can play that off as a flirt. Like, as long as you handle the messages after that, okay, you'll be alright. You can be like, oh my God, so embarrassing, but you know, yeah, you look good. Go straight in with the sex. If you ever want to avoid an awkward confrontation with a guy via text, go straight in with the sex. Put the words like breast or hot or wet in there, and their brains will they'll just forget about it instantly, and then you're back. Then it's done. That's very easy to get out of. Is my tip. Got up from bed, hit the sofa with my foot, ended up with a broken toe, had to pretend I was okay. Oh my God, well done. Some of you guys need like Oscars. Oh my God, and then I got this one, right? And basically my friend sent this one in, and it's Abby Markey who came on the podcast. So I'm sorry if you've already heard this, but for anyone new here, I've got to share this story with you, because still to this day, I don't think a funnier thing has happened to either of us, right? Sorry, Abby, I literally can see a message, but I'm like, I'm going to take this one myself to share. Basically, we're out. I'm going to keep it short in case you've already seen it, because I made a reel on it before. We were out, met these guys. We're not on a date, obviously, but we're meeting them. There's a bit of flirting going on. Anyway, one of the guys says, it's all about somebody he slept with, like not a sister, but like a step-sister or like a step-cousin or some sort of like family member. And we're like, that's so weird. And for some reason, Abby, my friend, wants to know who the girl is, right? So he tells her name. She searches for her on Facebook. Oh, there she is. No, I don't know her. Obviously, back home in Wales, you think you know everyone, innit? No, we don't know her. She shows me, no, I don't know her. Anyway, puts her phone back in her pocket. That's that. An hour later, we go to the bathroom, right? Still makes me laugh. She pulls her phone out and she's like, what's this Facebook notification? Like, Emma, say, likes your photo. I haven't uploaded a photo, have I? Clicks on to her Facebook. She had shared a picture of this girl that she had stalked and her grandmother from what I believe was 2016 to her Facebook page. And it had been up for an hour. It had had likes. It had a comment from somebody saying, didn't know you knew, say your name was Tanya. Didn't know you knew Tanya. And it was done. It was there. It was a picture of this girl and her now deceased grandmother. It was like a memorial post, I think, like in honour of her grandmother. She hands the phone to me, 'cause she was busy for the bathroom, and she's like, delete it, you need to delete it, oh my God. I was absolutely steaming at this point. We'd been out all day on a bottomless brunch. I literally was just looking at the phone. I was like, I actually can't do it. So I gave the phone back to her, And then she had to delete it. It must have been up for like an hour and 15 minutes. Honestly, one of the funniest things that's ever happened to us, if not the funniest. Yeah, the reel is up on, I think it's on my personal Insta at Sadie Maltby. I'm in a black strapless dress and Abby is blonde and she's in like a purple suit. You have to go and watch it because it's really funny. Okay, in other very juicy tea this week, I don't know how or why, given that I've had Facebook for ever, but I had a notification this week, either in asking me to join or just showing me the group. I don't know why. Hopefully it's nothing like a personal vendetta, or maybe somebody's just heard the podcast and was like, Sadie would like this. I don't know how it came to my attention, that's genuine, but I had a notification this week. Do I want to join the group? Are we dating the same guy, London/England? I was like, of course I do. Of course I want to join this group. So I honestly went to join it. They ask for like questions to join it, almost like a little test. I was like, oh, I'm not filling that out like I was doing someone else. They still approved me. So for whatever reason, the admins of this group wanted me to join. Hopefully not to show that I'm seeing somebody else, that somebody else is seeing. Hopefully just to want me to bring it to another audience. Because let me tell you, it brings the tea. Guys, it's the best thing. I didn't know this existed, right? As I said, it's called Are We Dating the Same Guy, London, right? So if you're on Facebook and you want to join this, basically search for it. It's for single gals. I'm just going to put it out there. Single gals, right? It's basically like a forum where girls chat to somebody on a dating app, send a picture in of the guy and just be like, any tea. Can you even believe it? I had no idea something like that existed. So obviously I swooped through. I mean, there's loads on this, so I couldn't go on them all. But one of them, right, sent a picture of this guy in and sent a picture of his Hinge, right? And it looks really genuine. He's got a verified tick by him. He looks really good looking. First picture is in with a dog, which even though we know what they're doing on Hinge when they put in a picture of themselves with a dog, we know exactly that they're trying to get us wet and trying to portray themselves as these like nice, wholesome, lovely guys. We know what they're doing, but still we fall for it every time. He's got a miniature dachshund in his hand, for fuck's sake. So it's like, obviously this guy, you're going to be attracted to him, right? His name is James. If I was on Hinge, I would match with him, 100%. Anyway, girl posted in, anyone know this guy? I don't know how many comments it had, but I think it was in, oh no, it was in the hundreds, so dramatic. 22 comments, but still a lot, right? 22 comments. First one, in big capital letters, lol. This is not James. His name is Raf. We matched on a dating app last year. Wanted to meet. I didn't like his voice. Anyway, I cancelled the date. Told him it's not a match. He kept texting me. And then basically she goes on about like harassment and how he was then trying to get with her friends. Similar type of thing. Another comment. The tea on this guy is insane. We matched last year and we're seeing each other for 5 or 6 months. He's a big gaslighting, narcissistic and manipulative dick. I took that picture. The dog is mine. Imagine your beautiful miniature dachshund being used on this arsehole's profile to lure more women in. And in that moment, I was like, thank God for this app and thank God for us ladies as a species, because if you're in this group, James/Raf hasn't got a hope. Like, his Hinge matches are they're gonna go straight down. And I am naming him just in case any of you come. I usually keep everyone anonymous, but after you're seeing the words gaslighting, narcissistic and manipulative, then I'm not ashamed to put him all over the podcast. He is not from Paris, he's from Morocco. Just lies, lies, lies. He's an absolute joke. I have screenshots and pictures. Just to alert you guys, he's one of the worst experiences I've had dating someone. He's controlling, etc., etc. Then there's another one. This guy's asked me out on a date. What do you think? Somebody's like, I went out on a date with him last year to a cocktail bar, so I dressed up nice. He turned up late and in trackies. Honestly, like, have guys got a forum like this, like, avoid her, we went walking and she turned up like in a mini skirt, or imagine. Do boys know that this goes on? Who knows? Then there was another one, any tea on this guy. First comment, I see no red flags, he looks lovely. Another comment, no tea from me, looks good. She's like, he is nice, but there's like something off. You know how we always have these intuitions. There's something off. Somebody commented, this girl was probably thinking it's only a matter of time before someone burst my bubble. Somebody commented saying, really sorry, hun, this guy's actual name is like Daniel, and here's his Instagram profile, you're being catfished. So sad, but like so amazing, because now we've saved the girl going on date. She said, oh, thank you, guess there was like something alright, I've unmatched him. Honestly, what a group. What a group. Some people just send in a picture of a guy with just loads of red flags saying avoid. So best believe I'm going to keep on this app and I'm going to bring you some juicy juice stories from it, because how amazing. I will say though, if I started dating somebody new, I genuinely would never do that, because I have this weird thing, right, where I'm so frightened of meeting somebody and liking them and finding out something that puts me off them before I get to know them. I might have mentioned this before because it's something that I've always had, but I remember before I was dating a guy and I'd been dating him for like at least 3 months at this point, and like seeing him regular and stuff. Like, we weren't serious, but we were seeing each other like every week, every other week max, right? And I did really like him. And he was like, we were having dinner once, and he was like, do you know it's really weird that we haven't got each other on Facebook yet? He was like, anyone else by now would have added me on Facebook. And I was like, I don't want you on Facebook. And he was like, why? I was like, I just don't. I said, because I'm still getting to know you. And if I go on Facebook and see something that's going to put me off you, I didn't tell him, but I was like, if there's pictures of girls, or if there's like a really cringe picture of him, I don't know, doing archery on the weekend or something I had no idea that he was into. Not that I'm judging somebody that does archery, but you know what I mean? Something like unknown. Or if I see him like dress up in fancy dress from a stag do in 2010 and I hate the outfit, it's a sumo wrestler, and I'm like, no, I can't deal. It'll put me off you for like a stupid reason. Like, I will go off somebody that quickly. If I see a picture of you in a wig from 2016 fresh as in uni, unfortunately I'm not going to be able to see you again. And I realise that's stupid, but that's just how my brain works. So it's for the best if I don't see you on Facebook. And I literally never added it in the whole time. We've got each other now on social media, but it was like after we dated a while and then we went into like a more, we become like friends basically until I got to know him better. That's it. Like, well, obviously when you get to know somebody properly and you know them, it's fine. You can joke about that time they were dressed up as Danny DeVito for their friend's party. You can joke about it, but if I don't know your personality, then it's a risky move. If I said the story before, I don't know why I'm going on about fancy dress, but I met this guy on holidays before, so hot, yeah, loved him. And then he sent me a picture the next day on the holidays of him in fancy dress, and I was like, whoa, too much, too soon. I would rather have a dick pic before I see a picture of you in fancy dress. I've got like a really weird thing about it. I'm only just realising as I'm talking, I have so many stories. I remember my long-term boyfriend. No, actually, it wasn't long term. It was just before we said we loved each other, but it was on this weekend we said we loved each other for the first time, right? So I was proper falling for him. We go to his family for the first time. His family is, I think it was like his mother's 60th or something like that, right? And his fancy dress, 60s. So I go really low-key, black dress, thick hairband in my hair. My ex comes out in a short black like Beatles wig, as in like the Beatles, the band, and round glasses. And I was literally like looking at him and laughing and being like, I don't know how I'm going to take this. Like, I had to tell him because I couldn't hide it. I was like, I'm really struggling to be normal with you when you're in fancy dress. I'm sorry, I've got a really weird thing about it. And he was like, what? Like, you were mental. And obviously I got over it and we had pictures together and it was okay. But would I rather have not seen him in that? Absolutely. I can't remember stuff he wore, but that from, I don't know how long ago it was, will still be ingrained in my brain. I hope he never ever listens to this, because I just really struggle with stuff like that. But I do think, like, when you start dating someone, it's important to just take him at face value, is what I think. Like, right, I've got a friend who was with a boyfriend, and she found out, like, a long time in that he cheated on his ex in, like, quite a brutal way. But, like, everyone makes mistakes, and I think if you knew that early on, and you were like, if you just said about it, you could be so quick to judge and it would put you off them. Whereas when you get to know somebody and then that stuff comes out, you're like, okay, yeah, that was a different relationship, different time, different person, you know, you're not going to do that with me, and she was fine with it. But I think some people want to find out stuff, like, straight away, especially with the internet. Like, I remember when my boyfriend added me on Instagram, I think it was, like, after... It was days, it was less than a week, and I remember coming through and being like, I just didn't want it. I didn't want him on Instagram, I didn't want him to see me, and I accepted because I was like, I like this guy, and obviously if I don't accept, you just look weird. But it's just like, so many things come into it, you know. I've had before when my friends Googled the guy I'm dating and found, like, pictures on the internet, and I've been like, don't show me, like, do not show me, I don't want to know anything, because it'll put me off him. It's the same as what I said. I'm really exposed myself as a friggin' weirdo today. What's new? It's like the story I've said again. If you're an OG listener, you'll know I cannot stick feet. I cannot stick feet, and if I'm dating a guy, I've made a reel about this as well, if I'm dating a guy and I see their toes before I've got proper feelings for them, it can really end it for me. Honestly, I have to be strong enough in my feels for them before I see their toes, because if they're bad, I'm done. It's an instant ick, and I don't know if I'll be able to come back from it. So this is my thought of the week. Privacy. Have a bit of privacy, get to know people on face value, because that's like my worst nightmare, is being like, I've started seeing this guy, and then somebody being like, my friend used to date him, he's actually a dickhead. It's like, in one sense, yeah, you want to know, but can I just say, always listen to that, because I could find out that the guy I'm seeing was an absolute arsehole, unless he's like a massive racist or like an actual felon. I'm not gonna listen to you anyway, because I'm gonna be like, well, he's nice to me. I might have my guard up a little bit more, but people can change, so that's fine. So if I'm not gonna listen to your advice, respectfully, don't bother giving it to me. Keep it to yourself, because I just don't need to know. So yeah, that was my little thought of the week. I think those girls are very brave for sending pictures in of the guys that they chat in, but I suppose they just like saving themselves time for meeting up with them, which is obviously a very good thing. Okay, well, I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you so much for watching, for listening. Please come give me a follow if you enjoyed, leave me a review. I'm still on my 5-star streak, which I'm thrilled at. And yeah, we really want to get to 1,000 followers and 1,000 subscribers, so keep sharing and come follow me at Sadie Murphy if you want to see what I'm up to in Dubai. And yeah, I will speak to you next week. Thanks, guys.